We are live. We are all so direct with Christine Baumgartner, who is a world-class relationship coach, helping singles step into the love that they desire. Leading with a company, The Perfect Catch, helping with dating and relationships. Online dating seem to be not working, wishing you might be able to connect with more people, moving from doom scrolling to connection. Christine is the one helping to boost confidence, address fears, date with authenticity, staying true to yourself to meet the special person in your life. She has an ebook on the topic. She has a weekly podcast with Barry Shelby, Let's Talk Dating. Julie, she sells. Welcome to Christine Baumgartner in the building, London to California. Speak to me, sister.
You'd introduce me all the time.
Listen, just tell me where I need to be. There's a 8-hour time difference, but I'll make it work for you, sister. I'll make it work.
I'm just a flutter. This was so lovely. Thank you so much. I feel very VIP.
Amazing. Tell me, who do you love serving the most? Is it women or men who are professional in their 40s? Maybe they've had children and they need to find a new way to reinvent, to navigate. Tell me what your sweet spot is for helping people to get into relationships.
It's a great question, Jay, and nobody's ever asked me it that way, so I like it a lot. What I have found is everyone that wants to be in a relationship would love to love somebody and be loved back. That is across the board. And also there's a rumor that people should just know how to date. And so then we all feel really discouraged and frustrated that we're not doing a good job at it. So I'm here to give everybody a pass. Nobody just knows how to date, and certainly not in 2026. So my sweet spot is to have people learn that the way that they're doing it is the only thing they've known how to do, and I can teach them better so then they can do better. I call it dating differently. It's what I had to learn as my first client. I was my first client, which is how I met and married my late husband, and I'm back dating again. So when people keep getting frustrated and discouraged, it's because they don't know the right way to do it, because nobody taught them. And everybody can learn if they're willing to say, oh, I never thought about it that way. I never knew there was another option, as in everything in life.
No, I really love the way you say that in terms of, helping people to navigate and to take the GPS. I call you the GPS, Christine. It's like you can try and go the long way around and trial and terror, but just go to Christine to get it right the first time round. Tell me, what's the problem in 2026? What is it? Is it people are connecting less? There's less social function, so people aren't meeting as much. What is causing this? What's the issue in 2026?
There's a couple. One of them is that people have unrealistic, unattainable goals for the very first meeting when they meet somebody. Because what I hear all the time, and I understand that they say, I really want to be in a relationship and I really don't want to date. So that's kind of a problem. Because if you want to go learn pickleball, you have to go out and play pickleball and take lessons and practice. And dating is exactly the same way. And if they've had bad experiences or they've heard about other people's bad experiences, they're all really hesitant to go out and do anything. And then they try something and then it doesn't work out well. So my goal is to get people to figure out even more clearly, because people think they know what they want and need, but after they've talked to me, they discover they haven't really clarified it. And often what's happened if we've had a bad experience, we keep being on guard. We keep looking, okay, if I pay attention to this thing, I won't let it happen again. But as human beings, what we concentrate on, we see. It's not like we bring it to it. It's not a manifesting thing. It's as if you keep saying, I don't want somebody who doesn't want to make a commitment, so I'm going to keep paying attention to they make a commitment. So you're going to keep meeting people who don't make commitments, even though there's all these people that would be happy to make a commitment that keep walking by. So what I teach people to do is to get really clear about, okay, what are the things you don't want, can't have, and we're going to turn them into a list of what you must have. And then you're only going to concentrate on that list. And I tell people my advice sounds so simple. I mean, when you hear the words, it's so simple. But as human beings, we make it really hard. So that's why I walk alongside them to turn it into not hard anymore. Now you can do this thing that sounds easy and make it easy.
Wow, I like the way so you keep it completely simple in terms of how you allow people to, because it's the fault it's the story that creates the identity and the identity that leads to the behavior, right? And so it's changing the story.
And if we believe, even have a tiny bit of belief that we could have something differently, you don't have to know how, that's my job. But if you could just believe, when you read the reviews on my website, when I tell you that I've had over 16 and a half years of working with people that are now in these wonderful couples, to just know, let's take one little baby step at a time, one tiny baby step that puts you out in the world, learning to talk to people in general, just people in general. It's a lot of pressure to just sit across the table from somebody. Often I hear, and it's the truth, dating before, when we were in our 20s and 30s, it was easier because we were surrounded by our target market. Everybody else was looking for somebody in a relationship. Everybody else was thinking about having children and buying a house and moving up in their career. And now we have to put ourselves in front of our target market. And we don't know how to do that. We don't know where to do that. So I start with the basics with that, so that then when you're surrounded by people who are on the same page as you now know how to talk to them. And the other thing that we do is people will say, I don't want to date somebody with baggage. I said, well, then they're two. So if we've done work on our personal baggage and what we've now done with the things that are still who we are, it's what makes us up. We've gotten it down to truly the size of a piece of luggage that would fit in the overhead bin of an airplane. Then we share a little bit at a time with the other person and they share theirs with us. And we decide, is that something I would like to be around or not? These are just little nuggets of the kind of things that I teach over time with people that help them get more centered about themselves, get centered about what they need and want, and then start meeting the people that fulfill that. It works amazing.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I saw you share an article mentioning that men are not approaching women and it's women's fault, was the article. Like, do you want to dig a bit deeper into how you came across that particular fault?
Sure. Yeah, because I hear all the time, why don't men have manners? Why don't they come and approach us anymore? And I generalize. I've been studying this for almost 40 years, so I've talked to thousands of people.
Yes.
So I know there's exceptions to everything I say. I get that. But generally, what has happened, I was in the age group of the feminist movement when we told men, go over there, sit in the corner, talk about your feelings, tell us about your feelings, listen to our feelings, and we can do everything all the time all by ourselves and wear us out. So that was the beginning. And what happened was we got a little bored. So we started dating men that weren't very nice men. And even these nice men over here would say, that's not a good guy, but we wouldn't listen to them and believe them. So then we got entrenched with a lot of guys that weren't good guys. Even though the bad guys are in a very small percentage, we kept being attracted to them. So then the good men start getting frustrated because there's so many bad men that are doing bad things to us. So then we women started taking advantage of the guys that we were making too nice. So we would get them to buy us a bunch of drinks, and then we wouldn't like them because they're too nice. We'd want to go off with the bad guy. Or a lot of women used men, some intentionally, some not intentionally. And men have really gotten to the place where they don't want to be used. They want to protect. They want to provide. They want to step up and be men. I loved having a husband. I'm looking forward to doing that again. And I will tell you, I am honest that because I was my first client, I was that woman that didn't treat men nicely until my 40s. And then I learned to start treating men nicer. Because most men are really nice. Most men really want to help us. And I learned that. And what they also do is they protect us from the bad guys if we let them. So women need to turn themselves around and assume until proven, because in this country, you're supposed to be innocent till you are proved guilty. A lot of women think the man's guilty until he works really hard to prove himself innocent, and it's kind of hard for them. So that's one of the reasons that men don't approach. The other reason men don't approach us, I have a lot of men tell me that they try to open a door for a woman and they actually yell at them. I can open the door myself. So when I approach a door with a man that I don't know, but he's coming at the same time, I stop and he will pause sometimes because he doesn't know what's going to happen, even though his instinct is the open the door for me. And I say, I just love it when a handsome man opens the door for me. And he puffs up, he throws open the door, and I walk through and I say, thanks, you made my day. And I'm assuming whoever he goes home to, he's in even better mood now. So I'm paying it forward. And what men say out loud all the time, they don't think we're weak. They are amazed at how strong we are. They're amazed at how many things we can keep track of at once. The house, the kids, the appointments, and them. They know they're not capable of that. They're in awe of us. If we would just calm down and let them help us and say, they think I'm really strong, but wow, they love opening this door for me. They love helping me with my coat. They love if I ask them for advice. The world would just be a better place. So there's my speech about that.
Yeah, I think well broken down there. I think what I've seen from my perspective is women not being able to see the good in men, and on the flip side, men also having up that guard as well. And so it seems like both groups are canceling each other out in that regard rather than honoring. I mean, things change, Christine, and I think women are earning more money. They have more earning power now. And so maybe they don't need as much help financially and things like this. And so I guess it's for men, in my opinion, to bring new things to the table to help out with some of the house chores and some of the drop-offs, and because we are in a new time and men have to adapt. Like, women have raised the bar. Men have to also be adaptable as well, in my view.
I think both. I think both need to be adaptable. So I heard my mentor said something that I just loved, and she was quoting somebody else, that if women are only looking for teeth, we won't know the difference between a wolf or a sheepdog.
Mhm.
But sheepdogs will keep us protected. Sheepdogs want to take care of us, and sheepdogs know a wolf in 5 seconds and will protect us from them. So my guys that I coach, and have coached lots of men, the good, solid, secure men, they don't care if a woman makes more money. They don't care if she has all these independent things. What men want, and I'm so curious to see if your Y chromosome person will nod about this, you want to be needed. You want to have a place in our lives. You want to provide things for us. You want to know that you can protect us and that we aren't going to keep saying, no, I can do it myself. I am a big fan of, yes, please help me. You want to do the dishes? I don't care how you put them in the dishwasher. I'm going to go take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
So both people need to learn to be kinder to ourselves and kinder to the other person and see, are we compatible? Can we have a conversation where we both can get to a place where we're like, oh, I like that you do that for me, and I like that you do that for me. You have a different strength than I do. You have a different strength than I do. And stop fighting about it. But the saddest thing I've met these women that they'd rather be right than loved, and they won't even have a conversation about, would you be open to doing something a little differently so that your life is easier? Not to kowtow to men, not to be subservient to men, but to allow them to do stuff so that you don't have to keep wearing yourself out all the time. They're like, why doesn't he just step up and do it? There's 2 reasons. One, because you've told him he can't do it right too many times and he wants to please you, so he stops. Or the other, he just really doesn't see it and you need to explain to him, this is what I'd like. Because men, I love this about you, you are so single focused. You screen out everything else that doesn't have to do with this. So when you're leaving the house and there's a bag of trash sitting at the door, you don't see it because you're thinking of changing the oil in the car or the meeting that you're going to. And we think you're ignoring the trash because we couldn't ignore it. But if I explain he's not misbehaving, say, hun, when you leave, it's really important to me, would you take the trash? He goes, sure, happy to do it. But we don't ask, and then we get mad that you do or don't do something we haven't made clear. This is what would make me happy. The communication breaks down, and we women say, oh, they don't communicate and they don't talk. And I said, because we interrupt you all the time. I finally took a pledge to stop being a professional interrupter of men. And I love teaching women to cut it out too.
Amazing. Tell me how you get visible. I think we are in an age where visibility is queen. I know you're doing a podcast. How are you getting visible for your tribe to see?
I have a bunch of Facebook pages that allow me to share my podcasts on them. I love getting interviewed by wonderful people like Jay. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
this.
You all,
Danke schön.
bitteschön. You share me with the world, and I'm so grateful. And my clients are my best source. I have wonderful reviews on my website, and also they share me with their friends. I've gotten so many referrals from clients that their friends come and coach with me. It's wonderful. I'm so honored.
Yeah, and we move on to the area of sales, because sales works in all regards, right? We have to be able to ultimately, if we want to get in a relationship, we have to sell ourselves. Both sides have to, but in terms of for your business, what's your take on sales? I know for myself, sales is synonymous with adding value, helping. That's where I see it. How about yourself? Where do you see sales?
So what works for me is I had a wonderful teacher, because what she told me I was doing was I was overcoaching, because I offer a free conversation with me. And I wanted to tell them so many helpful things that when they left, they thought that they knew enough. And there's really no way in a very short conversation for them to know enough to even make a big difference, even a little difference in their dating life. So what I have them tell me is, what are the things that are going wrong? What would they like to be different? And I talk about, here's some couple things you could do, but here's so much more if you'd like it to be different. And this is what I've done in the past. I have so many stories I can tell you. You can read them on my website. And the reason to coach with me for a while is
Love
that
it.
everything takes practice. Everything takes patience and practice. So that's why I say you can't learn it all in one brief conversation with me, but it's like a first meeting. When people go on a first date, the goal of it is to see, do you want to talk to each other one more time? Not have breakfast forever, but just one more time. So that's my conversation with them. Do they want to talk to me more? And do I want to talk to them more? Because it's not always somebody who's ready and willing to listen, that there might be a different way to look at it.
Well said. Like your take. I think really mapping out where they are, where they want to be, and you giving some suggestions is pretty powerful. And so they can maybe get some results in advance and begin to, get to know how you can help them. If I just dig over here, this book taught me so much about how women work, and it's been my number one way is saying that women really thrive off praise, them stepping into the feminine there. So that's been my number one book in terms of how I work with women, and staying on my purpose and these sorts of things. How about yourself? What books on relationships do you give to your clients? Do you dig into yourself, like when you need a top up? Yeah.
So I have two mentors in my life. My first 2 years of coaching, I had the pleasure of working for John Gray, the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From
Yes.
Venus author.
Yes.
I flew up north and made some videos with him. He's a dear man. So one of my favorite books of his is How to Get What You Want and Want What You Have. It's very helpful. And my
Yeah.
other mentor is Allison Armstrong. There's only one L in her first name. And her book that I thrive on and recommend to everybody is called The Queen's Code. It's a very important book for both men and women to read.
What? Thanks for breaking that down. I think what the sense I get from you is you go deep. You go deep, and not many are going deep. They're going shallow. They're coaching because, hey, I can make money coaching rather than it being calling. And so it's always great to connect with a woman of esteem like yourself who has tapped into her calling and is always progressing and learning new things, and open to connecting. So, I think you're amazing.
It is a calling for me. And the thing that happened about it's 6 or 7 years of my coaching, people kept telling me, because I really was just coaching about dating, that the rest of their relationships were getting better with their children and their colleagues and their family and their friends. So I actually did go back to school and get a life coaching certificate. And now I have people that spend half their time talking to me about their personal life and the other half about their business life. Because when you asked in the beginning about my clients, most of them run businesses and are so good at that. And then their personal lives do not feel very successful. And I said, because it's a different skill. It's a very different skill. just because you're really good at one thing, you can translate it, but you need to learn the techniques, the mindset for the other way. And it's helpful to transfer them over, but you really need some very specific guidance on how to talk to the opposite sex, especially at work where there's such a different dynamic where the women could be more in their masculine. So you would have to learn as a man, it's how it easier to talk to a woman at work, and that a woman would learn how to talk to a man at work to get more success and more cooperation and teamwork. And then how do you switch that when you come home so that you could be more in your feminine and he could be more in his masculine? The whole dynamic of, which is why I've been studying it for almost 40 years, is always fascinated me. And I know I'm going to be learning stuff until the day I don't wake up because I want to, for me, learn it. And I keep learning new things to teach men and women. I love learning something new all the time.
Amazing. Let them know how they can contact you and who you're looking to serve.
So my website is www.theperfectcatch.com, and I came up with that name because first you learn how to be one, and then you'll attract one. And you can download my free book at the top of my page. You can join my mailing list and you'll get my podcast every week in your mailbox. You can sign up to have a free conversation with me. There's no obligation. I promise you will walk away with helpful, useful information. You can decide if you'd like to work with me after that. At the bottom is all my social media, and on the right-hand side is my YouTube channel. Barry and I have over 280 podcasts we've done. And those are the visual episodes. But if you'd rather just listen, it's called Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. And people just binge. It's wonderful. I'm so pleased. And then you can also send me an email at christine@theperfectcatch.com. Thank you for asking.
No worries. Thank you so much. It's been the perfect podcast with the perfect catch. Christine, you are the bomb, literally. Thank you for blessing us. And yes. Auf Wiedersehen. That's it. She sells, Christine Baumgartner.
I feel very blessed to have talked to you, Jay. Thank
Amazing.
you for inviting me. I'm so
Amazing.
happy to talk to you.
Amazing.